Back with you here. It's Pro Football Today, and we are going to go through all 8 divisions. We begin, as most do, with the AFC East. And forgive me, Bills and Dolphins fans, while I am sure you feel that you should be the first discussed, we have to begin with the New York Jets. A season last year that is at times impossible to wrap your head around. All of these expectations, the hope and belief of Aaron Rodgers gone in a moment's notice. The torn Achilles on, was it his first drop back? Third play?
Third play, something like that.
And he was gone. At times I forget that they won that football game on a Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. And then Rodgers proceeded to influence the Jets all year, despite not playing in another game. Saying, I'll be back. No, don't get any other upgrades. They trotted Zach Wilson out again. He proceeded to continue to be the worst starting quarterback in football. Then Tim Boyle got a chance, made Zach Wilson look good. And then we've entered into this offseason, and they're saying Rodgers is saying all the right things. And then Rodgers is off on retreats again, which kind of goes the other way. What's interesting is the Jets are actually in front of the Miami Dolphins as it pertains to status within the AFC East market. Bills 165, Jets 185, Dolphins plus 210. Patriots are at a name-your-price kind of style. How do you feel right now, Joe, about the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers?
I think they're in complete disarray. And this is, take Aaron Rodgers out of it, just seeing how they handled last season in regards to Zach Wilson and the quarterback situation. Robert Salah, I think, is dead man walking. And that is a big cause of concern for the Jets' big picture, right? Even if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, let's say 95% coming off the ACL, I don't know if they have continuity as it relates to the offensive line. I don't think there's any continuity as it relates to Aaron Rodgers, the new additions of Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson now, and just expecting the New York Jets to be a 10 or an 11 win football team, I just don't see it. I don't understand how they could price, forget the Jets ahead of the Miami Dolphins. How do you have them ahead of the Cleveland Browns at $10 cheaper? The Cleveland Browns are 20-1 and the Jets are 10-1. It's ridiculous just to win the AFC. I do not see it. Again, Aaron Rodgers has shown it's Aaron Rodgers and everybody else. And again, if you want to be the leader of that team, you'd be in OTAs, you'd be in mandatory minicamp. He's not, and that just shows you what he believes of this team big picture. I think they're a 7-win football team at best, Donnie.
Here's the issue that we're going to run up against, right? Because you take a look at the Jets last year, and all we said all year long was, boy, if they could get not good play, competent quarterback play, they're a playoff team. Now we think we're going to get a competent quarterback team here with Aaron Rodgers, but the expectations now are back to being sky high. Because remember last year, it's like, hey, look at this, Jets running to the Super Bowl. You check the sports book. Wait a second, 9.5 wins in a 17-game season. That doesn't sound like a Super Bowl team to me. And yes, the division is going to be something, but also let's key in on what actually took place last year, guys. Aaron Rodgers ran that franchise. He gets hurt, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to be back. Don't you dare sign another guy to take this team who might make the playoffs and make me look bad in the next season. And then my favorite one was the final week of the season. Some guy just trying to earn a living. Aaron's like, throw that guy off the team here. I want to throw slant passes in practice this week. And then saying, I had no idea. Then in the offseason, is everybody going to come back? Aaron okayed everybody to come back. So now how does he repay them? Mandatory OTAs. I'm going to Egypt. He went to Egypt because he said, little wires got crossed at this point. What that means is he runs that locker room. What he says goes. If he doesn't like what's going on, he's going to make those changes. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but I am fighting with myself a little bit with the Jets because, again, just decent quarterback play probably gets them 10 wins, and they're going to get that if he stays healthy.
That is the big part of it that I think last year – what happened to Rodgers, I think it is fair to call kind of a freak accident. I know the age is there, but just because you're 40 does not mean that your Achilles pops at a moment's notice. However, I would say the odds are against Rodgers finishing a season fully healthy. We didn't watch that play out. We know that there are players who you can look at and go, they're not going to stay healthy. You have to – Kawhi Leonard in the NBA is always the example I'll go to. When people are like, if only Kawhi stayed healthy. Yeah. Well, why were you betting on something that's just not going to happen? So for Rodgers, my wonder with the Jets is, I think I'll get 8 great weeks, right? And then does he get injured at week 9, 10? Is he back by week 14? Can they stay above water in the meantime? Those all become the questions around the New York Jets. The thing that I think has me now pushing away, I don't know if you guys remember, but we kind of did a show in the in-between of the conference championship games and the Super Bowl. And at the time, I mentioned the Jets as an interesting buy low spot. Well, I can't make that argument anymore because it's no longer buy low. They're higher. They have a better odds to make the playoffs this coming season than they did last year. We're talking nearly minus 170 to make the postseason, Joe. There's now more optimism around the Jets, again, this year than last year. And that's where I get thrown off.
I do too, and it's ridiculous in my opinion. I'll just say this. His last season in Green Bay, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He cost his team an opportunity by losing to the Detroit Lions at a playoff appearance. So, again, expecting him to come in off a major injury, hit the ground running and throw for 30 touchdowns in this offense, I just don't see it. And then you talk about the other playmakers. When's Mike Williams been healthy for a complete season? We're expecting Mike Williams to be the savior with Garrett Wilson as well. And, oh, by the way, Breece Hall is just going to run for 1,500 yards. He's dealing with injuries as well, and then that defense is supposed to carry them. The defense couldn't carry them last year. Now, you could blame Zach Wilson, you could blame Robert Salah, but it's still the coaching staff. If Aaron Rodgers is not happy in the middle part of the season and they start, let's say, 2-5, the wheels are going to come off in regards to the team. And if Aaron is not happy, that's it. It is a dead bet, in my opinion. I'm going under. I do not see how they get to 10 or 11 wins. I still put the Dolphins and Bills above them in the division. We'll see how it plays out, but that's why I'm betting under.
And by the way, just quickly there, the opening game at San Francisco, you want to test out that Achilles. You want to test out that questionable offensive line. You're going to get that week number 1, but it'll be fascinating. And also, the Eastern Division, it's not as good as it was last year. Some of those teams have taken a slight step back, so it might help them a little bit.
That is where we will turn our attention. Even if you are high on the Jets, how does it line up relative to a Bills team that looked dead in the water and then left another great opportunity on the table? A Dolphins team who couldn't beat anyone with a pulse other than Dallas. We'll get to it all on Pro Football Today. Closing out the conversation around the AFC East, while we did give the Jets a lot of time, I think they're a very polarizing group. But the same could be said for Buffalo or Miami. Both teams fell short of expectations last year. The Bills were a true Super Bowl contender entering the season. And while they did great to find a way to win that division again and win a playoff game, they left fans wanting more. Eliminated by the Chiefs again at home in a game where it felt like Josh Allen could have been better, and it was a tough blow. Miami, guess what? Also eliminated by the Kansas City Chiefs. The difference is their offense didn't show up. It was a wild weather game, but there were frustrations with the Dolphins when you pull things back to the regular season and their inability to beat and to some degree even hang with top teams in this league. So, Joe, when you look at Buffalo or Miami, maybe even if we don't worry as much about betting the AFC East, would you be interested in betting either team to win this conference outright?
I would take a shot on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills because of Josh Allen. I think he can take a game over, and he did that towards the end of the regular season when they relied on the rushing attack with James Cook and that defense. I think if that's the key for Buffalo, for me, even if Keon Coleman, the youngster from Florida State, doesn't start fast right away, I still think they can run it with James Cook, utilize a ball control attack with Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and still rely on that defense. Even though they have some absences, they reloaded in terms of free agency and the NFL draft. I think they're going to be there. The main question for Miami, it's not offense. We know Tua, we know Waddle, and Tyreek Hill can score on anyone. But when you put into a cold weather environment and you're put into a situation where you have to rely on your defense, can they step up? 2 games last year against Buffalo in our house with the AFC East championship on the line. They didn't step up. They let Josh Allen run it and throw it all over us. And Donnie, they were non-existent and could not shut down Pat Mahomes in Kansas City. That is the main reason why I would bet Buffalo over Miami.
Miami is a very good regular season team, and rightfully so. I mean, they have weapons all across the board, and Tua Tagovailoa did stay healthy last year, but if push comes to shove, you get to the playoffs. You need to get a couple drives together, and if you're just talking about the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, I'm probably going to trust the Buffalo Bills more than I do the Miami Dolphins at that point. And it's not fair to say because last year was a prove-it year for Tua. doesn't have a contract yet. And we're saying to ourselves, still a prove-it year for Tua once again. And if I'm saying I need my quarterback to be healthy throughout the season, who do you trust more in that division? Now, granted, Aaron Rodgers, well, we'll see if he gets there. Who knows who's going to be the quarterback for the New England Patriots? But I still have that notion of, boy, oh boy, if it's week 3 and things are going well and Tua's on the sideline getting checked for a concussion, the season is over for the Miami Dolphins. I know it's an unfair bias to have there, but the trustability with the Dolphins right now, I just don't have it as much as I should.
I get it, but for me, it comes down to, at least at this point in the conversation, price point. Plus 750 Buffalo, 12-1 Miami. Again, Buffalo has not proven all that much more than the Dolphins. And if anything, to take it back to what we just said, the Jets being 10-1 and the Dolphins being the 12-1 isn't necessarily something that at this point in time I could get to. I take the chance that Tua maybe pieces this all together, because I think if we removed quarterbacks, which I know you can't do, everybody would take Miami over Buffalo. We'll close this out with the New England Patriots, who are not a contender. They have the longest price to win this division by far, the longest price to win the conference overall. The question is, will Drake May start for this team? And if that is no, which it's favored to be a no, by the way, minus 355, Jacoby Brissett is supposed to be your week 1 starter. When could we see Drake May, and what would those expectations be, Joe?
I think it's middle of the season, maybe game 8 or game 9 after maybe they start, 2-5 or 2-7 at that point, and then you get Drake May as long as he has a grasp of the offense. I think big picture, you want him prepared for year number 2. What is the offensive identity, Kev? That is the biggest question mark. This team did not have one last year. They relied on an average rushing attack with Ezekiel Elliott and Ramondre Stevenson and a middle-of-the-road defense that's gotten older now, so you have to get Drake May ready. As long as he has a grasp of the offense at the end of the regular season, that's it. But I think they're a 4-win football team at best.
And here's the part that Joe's bringing up as well. It's hard enough just to be a rookie quarterback in the NFL. How about starting at the Bengals, home to the Seahawks, at the Jets, at the 49ers, Miami Dolphins, Houston Texans, at the Jaguars, Jets, and then you finally get the Titans Sunday, November 3rd. So if you're going to start him and say, I'm going to shell shock you right away and ruin your NFL career, good luck and try that out. Let the kid sit there. Put him in when the season is de facto over, which might be the early parts of November. How about that?
How about this? Week 14 bye. Hey, kid, you get the last month of the season.
Oh, man, nah, then we call him bust.
No! All I'm saying is
already,
the proof is in the pudding. If you sit, it works out. We'll see what the Patriots do.